Welcome to another episode of On the Range. Let's get out on that range. Today we're going to take a look at the Smith & Wesson, what do they call this thing? 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum. Well, there you go. We're going to shoot it at the target and see if the target stays standing. Well, there you are. I was out in the range shooting the Smith & Wesson Magnum. Yeah, the ultimate Smith & Wesson Magnum, I guess. They're 500 Magnum. That would be, I assume, it's arguably the most powerful handgun in the world. Certainly right up there. I don't really know. There are other hunting firearms, handguns out there that may be claiming that. I don't know. Very interesting firearm. It's, of course, the Smith & Wesson X-frame, the next step up from an N-frame. And if you're familiar with N-frames, they get rather large. And it reminded me a lot of my old 657 that I carried for years. Pretty similar in the recoil. Pretty identical to that 41 Magnum. And, of course, it's like that because we were shooting pretty basic 1,350 feet per second loads. 300 grain bullet, I think it was, and that gun is considerably larger than the N-frame, so there's more weight there. 6.5 inch barrel, which my 657 used to carry was a 6-inch barrel. Interesting on this firearm, they have a lot of selection in the firearm, and it's kind of hard to scope it all out when you look at it. You might enjoy taking a peek at them. They have a 3.5 inch barrel, a 4-inch barrel, a 6.5 inch barrel, a 7.5 inch barrel, an 8 3/8 inch barrel, in which they have several versions there. A couple different versions. One ported, another one that has a muzzle compensator, and another one has what they call an efficiency removable compensator, which very odd looking thing. And they have it in their performance package of the Hunter model, I'm going to call it. I don't know what they call it. But it's a 10.5 inch barrel complete with a sling. Which, yeah, it's a big gun. You'll need a sling for that one. Had a good time with Jolson shooting that firearm. Jolson happens to be a fellow YouTuber, and he brought out some firearms with him. His father lives not far from here, I found out. So when he was up visiting him, he stopped by here and brought some firearms so we could shoot. And I'd have something to make a video on, so thank you to him. That was very nice of him. Fantastic firearm, a lot of fun. I don't know a real practical use for it for somebody like me, unless you're a hunter. Maybe someone living in Alaska would use it for bear defense, I guess. Other than that, it pretty much looks like it's just something to own because you want to own something that's an extreme. But I could see it if you want to hunt, if you're a big game hunter and that handgun hunter, and that's the kind of thing you want. But I would suggest the majority of the sales are just going to people that want to have a really, really big handgun. So there you go. I'm gonna tack on here a little description and some pictures of every version available because I didn't want to just talk about it offhand because some of these muzzle devices they kind of got me puzzled. So I'm going to do them one by one and put them up on the screen so you can see them. And then after that, well, let's go to that. No muzzle device here, no porting. This is the 3.5 inch version. Here's the 4-inch, and it has the compensator that is removable that can be used, one for a lead round, one for a jacketed round. Here's the one we were shooting with the ported barrel. Then you get into these 8 and 8.38 inch barrels. And again, you've got another one of these removable high efficiency ones that interchange for lead or a jacketed. Notice the sights change slightly on them. Pretty much regular sight or the high vis sight. Here we have the removable muzzle compensator on the end of this one, again with the 8.38 inch barrel. Kind of question why they have so many of those 8.8 inch barrels. Here's the 7.5 inch barrel with a muzzle brake on the end. This is a Performance Center model, along with the one I referred to as the Hunter performance model here that comes with a sling, again with a muzzle brake on the end. This one also has, you see, a Picatinny rail. There you go. Now you know as much about them as I do. Pleasant gun to shoot. It was really enjoyable. Of course, we didn't shoot any of the 500 grain rounds he had. I refused to do it because they're just too expensive. I said, no, we're not going to waste your yeah, they cost a lot of money. We're not going to waste your money. Pleasant gun to shoot, again, because it's a heavy gun. Of course, you're going to have a big hand because that grip frame is considerably larger than the end frame, which isn't a small grip. So bear that in mind if you're interested in this firearm. Really enjoyable time. I'm going to leave you with a little more footage here before we go of Jolson and I out on the original shooting range shooting that Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum. Thanks for tuning in this week.
Oh, well then that, takes away half the fun. Yep. Pulled out.
Nice gun. A little bow heavy, but I guess we should go down and see if I hit anything. Before we do that, let's take a look at the barrel. You'll notice it's got porting on the front of the barrel, and it also has the sight pinned in 2 spots. Well, thanks for tuning in to another episode of On the Range. Till next time, for Mr. Holster, Pecos Painty, and Jack, go out and stay safe.